Welcome to this week's edition of the Commissioner's Corner. I am joined today by fifth-year defenseman Olivia Knowles of the University of Minnesota. Excited to talk to Olivia today as the Gophers prepare for their first games on the ice of the 21-22 season. Hi, Olivia. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I am very good. So let's just jump right in if you're good.
Yeah.
You're back for your fifth year. So talk to me about a couple of things. First, the opportunity to have that fifth year, and maybe second, your decision-making process. Did you know right away you wanted to come back, or how'd that go for you?
If you would have asked me my junior year, I probably would have said I was completely done with hockey after my fourth year, just to move on with life and kind of enter a new phase. And then senior year, after we went through that kind of battle of COVID season, I just, couldn't imagine finishing on a year like we did last year. It was just, there was so many ups and downs and so many challenges. And I just felt like we put a lot of our heart and soul into the season and didn't necessarily get rewarded the way we thought we might have, with how dedicated we were to procedures and protocol. But I remember having a call with my mom and saying, Mom, there might be a fifth year because of COVID. Like, what do you think I should do? And she's like, do you have a job lined up? No. Well, are you looking? And I was like, no. And she's like, are you going to come live here? And I was like, no, yeah, I'm going to come back for another year, I think, if that's okay with Frosty. So I'm very grateful, very excited to be back. It actually worked really well with my school plan, and I don't know, we have an incredible group this year, so I'm super excited to be back.
Well, I love that. So it sounds like Mom didn't say, you're welcome to come home. That didn't come out.
I moved out when I was 15 to play hockey academy. So other than last summer when I went home during quarantine, I really have not lived at home for so long. And it's a weird transition going back to home. So I don't know. I'm happy to be living college life again. It's fun. It's good to be around your friends.
No doubt. And I would say my piece of advice to you is to not wish it away too quickly, because,
there is graduating actually.
Yeah, right. Like there's an excitement about the real world and all of that, but once you're in the real world, you're not going back. So enjoy the moment, most definitely. We'll talk a little bit about that transition for you from home at 15 in a little bit, but that's of huge interest to me. So this is the second year you're serving as a captain for the Gophers, and I'm just really curious, what does it mean to wear the C on your jersey at the University of Minnesota?
It's going to sound like a cliche, but it's seriously a huge honor. It means a lot, just especially with our tradition here and how well the people before me have served as captains. I've had some of the best leaders in my life, even who haven't worn letters, be on this team. So it's been a huge honor to be seen in my teammates' eyes as a leader, and also just continue our culture here, and especially serving with Brownie, or Emily Brown, sorry. She was my roommate freshman year. We've lived together for 4 years now, and she's an incredible leader too. So just working together with her and our two new, Heisey and Ostertag, it's a great group, and it's an honor to lead with them.
So I think what's interesting when you're in a leadership position is what your role is like when there's change. Mm-hmm. And there's been a lot of change at the University of Minnesota this summer with the changing of the guard a bit and the assistant coaching roles. And so I'm curious for you as part of that leadership, what has that been like for you, and how have you helped your teammates adjust and yourself adjust? And then maybe on the flip side of that, like, what's been the most exciting part about the change?
I think it's been really exciting to, again, be here for a part of the change. I know, again, I'm grateful to have a fifth year, but we have the opportunity this year with just how much stuff has changed that we're able to introduce new traditions. We're able to look back and what's not working, what has been working, what are we doing that we've just been doing because that's what we've always done. So we've kind of been able to have a refresh perspective and look back. And I know change can be uncomfortable, but it's also like we're getting pushed a lot. And that's been already, we've had so much growth this year, just even individually for myself. We've had like a ton of growth and opportunity to change what we thought was our best. So it's been really cool. We're still working on new traditions, looking for win songs and different pregame rituals, stuff like that. But I don't know, it's been really cool because we just have such a new outlook on our team and how things are run here.
I love that. Change is not always a bad thing. Change can be scary, no doubt about it, because change is just that. It's change. It's different. But it sounds like, and I'm certain, knowing the leadership that you've already mentioned and your fellow captains, that, you know, it can only be good. And if you embrace it like that from the start, it's awesome. So now it's time to hit the ice. Ohio State comes to town, obviously a huge WCHA weekend right off the top.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, you know, how do you feel like preparations have been, and what are you looking forward to this weekend?
I don't think about it too much yet, because when I do, I like run through a wall. I'm so excited. They're always tough opponents. So we're going to get right into it, and it's going to be a tough weekend. We already are knowing, but I'm really excited to just immerse myself back into our season with tough opponents. And I like get chills. I'm so excited. I don't know what else to say.
Do you think it'll feel different coming out of the tunnel with some fans in the stands?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We have some of the best fans in the league. Very excited to see them. I know I've been getting messages from our super fans who are incredibly excited to be back. And even we have some of their little fans who are just so excited, and they're going to be so grown up now, but we're really excited to have them back.
Yeah, I can speak from experience from last weekend being in a rink with fans again, that it's a big change. And it was just such a kind of almost a goosebump type moment, right?
Yeah, I can't think about it.
Yeah. No, okay. We have one more question about it, then we'll switch gears. So just give me some keys for the series, keys to success for the Gophers.
We're just going to battle. That's our mentality. We know it's going to be tough. We're going to be going in with intentions of winning each battle along the way, and we're going to have to be open to, you know, feedback and changing on the fly, because there's not much video to work with. There's not, you know, we don't have lines yet type thing. So we're just going to be really adaptable and then hardworking. That's all we really can control, and we're going to bring our best.
Control what you can control.
Yeah.
Wait. All right, let's switch gears. So you mentioned leaving home at 15 and a little bit. So tell me a little bit more about your path and what led you to the University of Minnesota.
The story of how I was led to Minnesota. One, I was a gymnast my whole life until I think I was 12. And then around 11, 12, I started playing hockey because that's what my cousins were doing. That's what my brother did. And I was always at the rink anyways. And I started to get into some spring hockey. And it was like my first ever year of spring hockey. And we traveled to Minnesota tournament. And my parents are like, what are we doing? Like, why are we spending this money to travel all the way to Minnesota for, we don't even know if we like it yet type thing. And I played here. We were terrible. I was the youngest on my team. I barely was not good at all. And we weren't even in a consolation game, I want to say. And we came here and had lunch in Dinkytown and walked around. And I was like, this is incredible. I've never been to a school this big. I've never seen like a football stadium like that. I've never seen if you've been here, but it's beautiful here. And I was just like, this is incredible. I want to go here when I grow up. And my mom was like, yeah, okay. And fast forward, I played boys hockey on the travel team all the way up until I was 15. And then I had to either decide if I was going to continue to pursue hockey or if I was just going to play casually. We didn't really have the competitive girls team was an hour away from my home. So I kind of had to decide what route I wanted to take. And a girl actually from that same spring team I started on, her parents messaged my parents and said we would be willing to board Olivia if she wanted to come play in the interior BC, which it's around 8 hours from my home, but 4 hours from Vancouver. And I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's invest in myself and take a chance on this. And it's one of the best experiences of my life. I'm still like lifelong best friends with the girl I lived with, who I'm going to be her maid of honor at her upcoming wedding. I am family to them, they're family to me. And it was really an incredible experience. And then I also lived with, in my senior year of high school, with Sophie Shirley. So fun playing Wisconsin always. One of my favorite teams to play against, but it's really cool that I was able to like grow up beside her and live with her and then also see her like that. So yeah, really cool experience for me.
It's really interesting because I'm not sure if I said this at the top, but you're from British Columbia.
Yes.
And I've learned quickly that, and I knew this before, but the differences for young women in Canada, and not necessarily so much around having to leave home, because there is obviously a lot of hockey opportunity in Canada, but there's not college opportunity in Canada. And sometimes what you don't know about college, right, is very real as you're going through the process. So your huge advantage was having come to a campus and seeing it. So you knew at whatever that was, 12, what it was you were hoping to do. Do you think, looking back, like if you had advice to give to yourself, do you think you'd have made the same decision?
Yeah, I have never regretted this decision at all. It's one of my favorite places. I couldn't imagine ever transferring or anything like that. I think I would stay with the same advice that like sacrifice is actually not sacrifice, it's an investment. Mm-hmm. So yes, like my parents were very sad to see me go at such a young age. But they also realized it was a sacrifice, but an investment in my future. And if you would have seen me from when I left home to the next year, like the amount I had grown from just having to be more independent, take care of myself, be in a different family where they have different customs and cultures, and having to like learn that so quickly, I think it really opened my eyes and changed my outlook on how things are done. And it just, like, I was much less sheltered. Not that I was much sheltered at my home, but I was from a small town. So I really opened my eyes and I grew tenfold in that experience. And you even realize it when you come to college and there's people who live very close to campus. Most of our girls are from Minnesota, and you just, like, I am very grateful that I had that opportunity just to get away from home, to learn different perspectives and learn a lot about life. And yeah. And like you said, it is different in British Columbia, a lot different. We had, I believe it was 2 women's teams on my island, which they had to drive an hour and a half to practice. My cousin played on the team, an hour and a half to practice and 3 hours to games, and then ferry ride to tournaments. So expensive in the long run as well. A lot of travel time, big investment, but it's not like Minnesota hockey where you're playing high school hockey. We didn't even have a high school team. So it's a lot different.
Yeah, I think that's great for viewers to hear. It's not the same everywhere. And those of us that live in Minnesota, what we think is normal is very, very far from that for most women across the country even. And I think that's a whole nother episode for us to talk about women's hockey, the growth of women's hockey and girls hockey. But sacrifice is not sacrifice, it's an investment. I love that. That's incredible advice right there. Tell me a little bit about you, major, what you want to do when the 5th year's done, and what jobs you might be looking for.
Yeah, that's a big question. My majors are sport management and journalism with focus in law and broadcast. I can talk a little bit if you haven't noticed. So I've always looked at that sports side, but the behind the scenes side that I'm not used to, from being a player to more of someone who watches. But I really want to stay in sports. It's what I've done my whole life. And I have just grown up doing, I think I'd stay in hockey, obviously, but I've grown up doing gymnastics, soccer, hockey, volleyball, basketball, track and field, everything you can imagine I was doing, just because I had too much energy as a kid and my parents needed a break from me, I think. But yeah, I've stayed in the sports world and I want to stay in for the foreseeable future, I'd say.
2 weeks in a row, I've had guests that want to be in sport, which just makes my heart get very excited. So we'll have further conversations on that one as well too. Okay, so that was like the easy part. I feel like now we're gonna get to the hard part.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. So I've got just some fun, this or that. So I'm gonna learn a little bit about you by asking you some silly questions. You ready?
Okay. Yep.
All right. Skydiving or bungee jumping?
Skydiving.
Ocean or mountains?
Ocean.
You are very decisive. This is great. Hot dogs or hamburgers?
Hamburgers.
Dinner or dessert?
Dinner.
Really? That one gets me.
The sweet too.
Oh, good. See, can you pass that on to me? That would be great. If you give me anything, I would take my not sweet tooth.
Yes.
Mac or PC?
Oh, Mac.
That one was hard for you.
I was trying to picture what a PC was. Yeah, Mac.
Oh, that one just made me feel real old. Okay. Road trip or plane trip?
Road trip.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs. My cat's gonna hate me. Dogs.
If your cat's watching.
Yeah.
What's your cat's name? Let's give the cat some love. Okay.
Indy, tune it out. I think she's deaf now, actually, so we're fine.
Oh, that's funny. Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Okay, I have to pause there. This is really funny. So last week when I asked my guest Anna, Netflix or YouTube, I said, does anyone even watch YouTube? And do you know what's funny about this? This episode, we air on YouTube. So my friend Carla, shout out to Carla. So. Yeah, she was like, wait, I'm watching you on YouTube. So some people watch YouTube, but Olivia goes Netflix. Got it.
Yes.
Phone call or text?
Text.
Cardio or weights?
Weights.
Sneakers or sandals?
Sneakers.
Dine in or delivery?
Dine in. Depends on that place, really.
Okay, fair. That's fair.
Snapchat
or TikTok?
Oh, Snapchat.
Really?
I don't use either that much, honestly. But also, I like Twitter. My Twitter's hilarious. It's one of the best I know.
Oh, we could be good friends, Olivia, because I say Snapchat or TikTok as if I use either. I don't. I mean, I have Snapchat on my phone mostly so my kids can make funny faces when they put the filters on and stuff, but I also love Twitter, so good to know.
My family's kind of taken over Snapchat. Like my grandparents have it. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. So I don't use it like a ton anymore, but like it's funny to get their faces in the morning or see what their cats are doing. Their dogs.
I'm very impressed by the Snapchat you see.
I know, same. I didn't expect them to pick up on it that quick.
Okay, last one. What is one word that you would use to describe yourself as a hockey player?
Oh. I would say, oh, that's tough. I was thinking one word in general. I would say energy. I like to bring the energy. That was one of my goals of the last 2 years, I guess now, is that the first practice, no matter how I'm feeling, I'm going to set the tone and the energy for everyone, because there's nothing worse than getting there on a Monday, knowing you have the whole week ahead and you're still bruised from the games on Saturday, and it's a tough battle through the whole practice. So setting the tone, setting the energy, and I've always liked starting games too for that reason. So that's energy.
I like it. It's a really good word. Olivia Knowles, fifth-year defenseman, University of Minnesota. The Gophers are on the ice this weekend, which I know is exciting, right? On the ice facing the Ohio State Buckeyes, a definite big-time top 10 matchup in Ritter Arena both Friday and Saturday. If you're not going to Ritter, which you should go if you can, but if you're not, games are available to stream on B1G Plus as part of the Big Ten Network streaming package. Olivia, thanks for joining me. Best of luck this weekend. Can't wait to see you and your teammates on the ice, and we'll be watching with big eyes, because we know it's going to be a big series to start the season, but remembering also it's just the start of the season. So
yes. Thank you so much for having me. This is
Thanks,
fun.
Olivia.